Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hello. We're so excited. This is the Giver Marketing Tuesday marketing broadcast. And oh my goodness, we're going to have so much fun. We've got Jennifer in the house. Woot, woot.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Oh, and big shout out to all our fans. Giver Marketing Network group is tuning in. We've got Kingdom Warriors. We've got, oh my goodness, the Prepared group. We have Selling with Dignity. Oh, yes, I can. We've got all sorts of crazy people watching the show. And I'm excited because Jennifer has some wonderful things to share. Jennifer, you've been doing marketing for a while, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So I had always had this dream that I was going to work from home, live in a big farmhouse filled with kids, and focus on writing and research. And everyone told me it was crazy. This was before the internet. So I guess at that point it was a little crazy, and they told me it was impossible. So at some point in my early 30s, I finally discovered freelancing. And I never knew that existed. As when I found something looking for a ghostwriter, which I had to look up what that was. But suddenly that door of, yes, you can design your own job, your own life, opened, and all these things that I wanted to do weren't crazy after all. And so I started as a copywriter and content creator. And over the years, I got really excited about learning how to do new things. And so I learned all these different skills. I started creating launches and writing webinar funnels for people. And I started to see, though, that I was doing all this work. My clients were very happy with what I was doing. But what I was doing, even though I was keeping up with the trends and what everybody was saying to do, there wasn't a one-to-one correlation. And it was hard to see how what I was doing, let's say on social media or in email or in any of those other arenas, was impacting their business directly. And everybody at that point said, well, if you're just on the right platform, all you need to do is post and you make money. And I had a feeling that wasn't right, because I had taken all the classes that were supposed to tell you how to do that, and none of them really told you how to do it. So I did a deep dive into marketing and interviewed experts and very successful business owners, took some really deep marketing classes, and came up with a system, which first I realized that just how to integrate everything together so that it does work. And the fact that marketing really hasn't changed in the 21st century. It's just that we have different vehicles. And so through that, I became a marketing strategist. I had studied sales psychology. So I have many different facets that I bring to the table when I work with people now.
Wow, where you started to where you are now, right? It's amazing. And marketing, like you said, is such a vast area, right?
It
and
is.
So figuring out, and I think a lot of business owners and nonprofits, they get confused, right? What do I need? What do I need to do to be successful? You feel like you're chasing things, right? It's the latest trend, right? And trying to figure out a system that works.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to what you're sharing with us today. I think you're going to share, what's our topic today?
How to algorithm proof your marketing.
Ooh, Think about that for a moment, right? Algorithm proof your marketing. Oh, that's a tall challenge. I love it, Jennifer. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. Should we pull your slides up? You ready to rock and roll?
Yes. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to algorithm proof your marketing. If you were in any way online a couple of weeks ago, you know that the whole world freaked out that TikTok went away for a few hours. It's back, but there's no guarantee that it's staying. And just like other platforms that were the platform at the time, like Clubhouse and Periscope, and other ones that have fallen by the wayside, they were the place to be until they suddenly weren't and don't even exist anymore. So, in a world of constantly shifting algorithms, because I honestly think they change so fast now. It used to be like once a year or whatever. Now there's constantly changing, and everybody gets upset when they do. How do you keep your marketing going when things are so unstable online? And we know that social media is where it's at, or at least that's what we're told. So that's what we're going to go through today. So we're going to go through, first of all, what is a marketing plan? I think that many of us have brought in ideas from across the internet, and we may have either a skewed or not a complete idea of what a true marketing plan is and how it can benefit our business. um, Platforms and reach. Where do you have to be? Who do you need to reach? What numbers actually matter? And how do any of these figure into growing your business? Because many times, like TikTok and Clubhouse, we're told just go there, but we don't know why. So we're going to look at where you should be, how to evaluate where to be, and what it can do for you. And the last thing is 2025 marketing trends, which probably isn't what you think it is, but I'm going to go through what I see and what colleagues and friends of mine who are very knowledgeable in the space are, what we're discussing, what we see coming up, and the shifts that are happening.
All right, y'all, you're going to want to take notes, grab your paper and pen, or go ahead and start making comments in the chat. So if you see something that makes you go, wow, make a comment in the chat so other people can go, wow, with you. If you have questions, drop those in the chat and we'll get to those towards the end.
So, what is a marketing plan? Many times in the 21st century, we think that a marketing plan is I'm going to be on this, this, and this platform. Or I'm switching from long form content to short form content. I'm going to start doing stories and reels instead of writing posts. Whatever it is, that is the start of a plan. But really, a marketing plan, those are assets. Those are parts of the plan that are going to help you execute what the plan is. It's really all about traffic and direction. You need to generate traffic because lead generation and traffic is how you grow your business. Without lead generation, without increased traffic, you can't have more clients. You can't make more sales. You can't sell more product. You have to have that consistent, and the goal usually is to grow it, right? Because you have to remember that there is attrition, or you may have a new product, but we want to continually be on the path of growing to at least maintain our businesses. So traffic is amazing. And when we go to social media and we look at how many impressions we have, how many views, how many followers, we think, wow, I'm really growing my traffic. And in some ways you are. But one of the crucial steps of this is direction. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more in the coming bullet points. But it's really where that traffic is going, not the fact that you have traffic. You could have 1 million followers and they don't buy anything from you because you don't have a direction that you're leading them to. So when you are doing a marketing plan, really it starts 6 months in advance. Generally, we sit down and we may plan out a week, we may plan out a day. If we're really ambitious, we plan out a month. But generally, we're just planning the content for that month, day, or week. We're not even planning the direction or the overall plan of how it's going to work. What you need to know is, where are you going to be in 6 months, and what is it that you want people to do? It takes a minimum of 60 to 90 days for people to even realize what you're doing. So if you're putting things out for a week or maybe even 2 weeks, and you're getting crickets, it's because it takes that long, first of all, for algorithms. They can work for you. They don't all work against you. For algorithms to pick up what you're doing and serve it to the right people. But also realize that when you feel distracted and overwhelmed and you have a hard time focusing, your clients feel the same way. And so it takes them a while of seeing things before it even fully breaks through all the noise and gets into their head. So planning 6 months ahead, what do you plan to be doing in 6 months? Do you have a launch? Do you have a target that you want to reach? I want to have this many people in this program or this many clients for this service. And then work backwards. There could be other things that are going on, and generally those 6 months overlap because the 3 months started 6 months ago. And so that will be part of your plan. And all of what you're driving, like where you're driving people to, is what drives your content. So it's not about what you feel like talking about or what is happening now, unless you're someone that shares current events or you talk about trends or the latest algorithm update. Then your content will be driven by what's happening now. At the same time, though, you still need to know, talking about those algorithm changes, current events, or any of that, what is your goal? Like, where do you want to get them to? So a marketing plan starts with a goal and a timeline, and then you add in the vehicles you're using, which could be platforms or emails, webinars, and the content that you're using. That is actually the last part of a marketing plan, not the first part.
Great explanation there, right? Because that's really when we think, if you don't have a background in marketing at all, you're just like, you throw things up on the internet and then something sticks to the wall, right?
Yes. And there are times when you need to experiment. A lot of marketing is testing and refining. I would say that's the biggest part of marketing that people don't realize, that it's all testing and figuring out what works and then, capitalizing on that. So there is a little bit of spaghetti throwing sometimes, but it still should have a purpose of throwing spaghetti. It shouldn't just be willy-nilly content. So you do need to know your numbers, and that's part of this, is that if you want to capitalize on what's working, you need to know what's working. You need to know, when I do this, I gained 12 followers. When I do this, I had 2,000 views. When I did this, I had 5. Now, the algorithm, I have to tell you, is a little wonky right now. And so it's not always exactly that way. Gary Vee just had a talk about this, about how it used to be, if you knew this content worked, you could just keep putting out the same type of content and you would keep growing. But he had one video and another video, and there wasn't really much difference on them other than like a slightly different topic. They were the same length. They were filmed the same way. They were released at the same time. One had over 1 million. And he's like, I can't really tell you why. So realize that, know your numbers, but don't be a slave to them, because there are things that are completely beyond your control. However, tracking your numbers helps you have a better idea of what you should be doing and how your plan is going.
So when you say track your numbers, what does that mean for those that aren't media gurus?
Okay. So I generally go through, and I don't do it every day, or what's the trend as far as views I've had on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. What is it that people were viewing? When were they looking at it? When I posted this many times a week, did I get more followers? So I look at my follower count in an overall thing. Again, I'm not a slave to it. I'm not obsessing when it goes up and it goes down, but at least once a month, look and see, have you gained followers? When did most of them come in? Were there certain pieces of content that did better than others? That's what I'm talking about as far as numbers. They're all kind of relative, because you don't really know exactly what an impression or a view means. It could be that it flew past their face, or it could be that they watched the whole video. So watch time is important to look at as well. However, realize that in platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, you don't really know that for the most part. And so you need to look at the trend of the numbers, but not obsess over each individual number. So
Great explanation.
thank you. So people are actually your best metric. You can have an upward trend in views and likes, but if you're not having conversations with people, then generally that means that it's not going anywhere. And you need to figure out, either, am I putting out things that are resonating and I'm just not helping people know how to contact me and take the next step? Or am I putting out things that they like, but it isn't aligning with the goal of where I want them to get. So they like this content, but really it doesn't have much to do with what I want, how I want them to engage with me and take the next step to work with me. So people are your best metric when people start conversations, when people buy into your program, when they give you feedback or reach out to you in a DM or an email. That is your best metric. Having more conversations is a better metric than anything else that you can see online. So that is one of the things that you want to track that most people forget about.
So write that down, right? Conversations. How many conversations are you getting from your social media? And I know
Yes.
from experience, right, you can tell a difference because it's true. You will get conversations. So look for those opportunities.
Yes. And so that brings us to platforms and reach. Where should you be? There was a time when there were like 5 main platforms, and not everybody was on all of them, but you could easily be on all of them, right? And understand how they worked. And their algorithms generally changed about once a year, and they told you before they were going to change. That doesn't exist anymore. There are so many platforms. Sometimes I talk to people and they're like, oh, I'm on such and such. I'm like, I've never even heard of that. And I am in the marketing space that I keep on top of this. But there are right now more platforms than you can really keep up on. And unless you have a huge team doing this for you, it's impossible to be on all of them. Gary Vee, who I mentioned before, has 100 people who just work on his social media content. So yes, he is on every platform there is. Most of us don't have 100 people working for us. So you need to pick where you're going to be, because if you're trying just to be everywhere and you don't have a strategy and a marketing plan and you're running yourself ragged creating content, first of all, your content's not going to be as powerful, but also you're going to just be creating content and not building your business. You're not going to have time for those conversations. You're not going to have time for client work. You're not going to have time for networking and really thinking about your business and what it needs. You're just going to be putting out content fires nonstop. And you're going to exhaust yourself, get to the end of the week or the month, and realize that with all that work, it didn't benefit you at all. Because businesses need to make money. That's what businesses are for. So, so that's one thing to remember when tracking your numbers. So where do you really need to be? I always tell people you need to be where your people are. There are some people who are Facebook people. There are some people who are LinkedIn people. There are some people who are X or Twitter people. And yes, there's a million other platforms beyond that. But you also need to think of where you are as far as how it affects you showing up online. So I just met with a client last night and she said, when I search, or I have someone search the name of my business, my Facebook page always pops up. And I said, well, that's because Facebook pages will always outrank your website just because of the general traffic and, Facebook's presence online, that will always show up before your website unless you have a website that has tremendous amount of traffic. And even for people like Byron Golden or Russell Brunson, I feel very often their Facebook pages or other social media will come up before you see their website. And so that's a common occurrence. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your website. So you want to capitalize on those platforms that will show up in search. So Facebook pages will show up. So it's good to have a Facebook page, even though everybody complains that nobody sees my Facebook page. It's a branding exercise and it's a chance to be able to show up in that search. And also Facebook, the one thing they do great still is groups. So being able to network with people that are ideal clients, are in your space, would be great power partners. Facebook is still the best place to do that. Maybe at some point LinkedIn will figure out how to do it, but they don't do it very well. Someplace else that ranks well, though, is LinkedIn, because their articles still are open, meaning that if you create an article and it has the right SEO and somebody searches something, that article can come up in their feed even if they're not a LinkedIn member. They don't need to be on LinkedIn to find it. So this, again, helps you to show up online and build authority. Now, what you put on your LinkedIn profile or your page is not searchable. And while you do still need to have things there to nurture the relationships on the platform, articles are a great way to build authority online and to get those links and recognition that does help boost your website and drive people to where you want them to be. So you want to be able to be on places that build trust and authority. And so two other places that rank very well on Google or other search engines are YouTube and Pinterest. They're both search engines. YouTube is good because you don't have to be a member of YouTube. You don't have to have a YouTube profile to use the videos. Even if you don't have an account, you can search and find something and watch it. Like someone might find this video. Pinterest, you can find them, but then you need to have an account to actually do anything. However, Pinterest is a very high ranking, they're owned by Google unofficially. So they're very high ranking when you search. So if you have things on Pinterest, it will help with your search. I know there's some people who are frustrated with Pinterest right now. I would say probably pick either one or do all four of them. However, you may say, Jennifer, you know what? My people are really over on Gab or on Blue Sky, and that's where I'm getting traction and getting clients. And I would say more power to you, because if you are on a platform where you're having more conversations, where you're getting more clients, where you're getting more notice, then that is the platform for you. You don't have to be on the platform that everybody says you have to be on, because the latest platform now in 2 years will possibly not be here or not be the new trend, because there'll be another place to be. So this is where it comes in to know your numbers and track your conversations. And then the other thing is leverage your content. Being on multiple platforms can be a lot of work if you're sitting down and saying, I'm going to create all my LinkedIn content. Now I'm going to create all my Instagram content. Now I'm going to create all my Facebook content. Now I'm over on X. And now I'm over at Pinterest. And you could spend all day, because very easily it can take you an hour to create content for a specific platform. However, if you have a plan of what your message is and you know where people are being driven, then you can repurpose content. So Christine and I were just talking about this, about what to do with these morning broadcasts, because I've been on a few times, and you said, what do you do with it? I said, well, I added to my YouTube channel as a podcast, because I have a podcast playlist so people can see all the places that I've been and topics that I've talked about. It's a great learning tool, and since I've done it, I might as well use it. I break it up into reels and shorts and little chunks of videos that I can repurpose other places. I take the transcript and often make a blog post out of it, or take a section of it and make an email series for my email list. I've made it into LinkedIn articles. I've made it into Facebook posts. I take the information that's here and I leverage it instead of creating more information over and over and over again. So when choosing where to be, pick a main platform that you are going to create a large chunk of content. So this could be LinkedIn if you're doing articles that are very research heavy and a lot of information and links, and then you use that to repurpose, because that article can be repurposed into a YouTube script, or it could be broken down into ideas and made into reels. So really think about what your purpose in creating the content is, and then use that to be able to be more places and build that authority and trust.
I love this. You guys taking notes? If you have any questions, be sure to drop those in the comments for us.
Yes. So now we're up for the 2025 marketing trends. Now you may think that I'm going to talk about the trending sounds or the latest look for reels, or what the TikTok challenges will be this year, or even what the new platforms are that are coming out that everyone is racing to. However, I'm not, because those trends are really more for influencers. I'm not saying that you can't do them, but when you're just tracing those trends, then what you're doing is looking to be an influencer as far as a content creator who makes their money from content. And that is a business model. I feel like it's one that's a little tenuous. If you are a content creator, you do need to have something else that you sell to people other than your content, or you risk losing your entire business if a platform closes down. However, that is a totally different thing than having a marketing plan for your business. While you can incorporate those into it and decide that you want to use the latest sounds, the latest challenges, or show up in a trendy way as part of your marketing plan, that isn't a marketing plan unless you are doing that with the express purpose of getting content in front of the right people that will start conversations that will lead them to your goal 3 to 6 months down the road. So, what's old is new again. There was this golden age of online business that I would say ran from like 2019 to early 2022, maybe late 2022, depending on how you measure it. And it was a time when online business exploded. I always joke that you could be a coach that helped people pick their perfect socks to go with their outfit in the morning, and call yourself some sort of sock wizard unicorn, and make these fancy titles, right? That nobody knew what they meant, but they sounded impressive. Everybody had an online business. Everybody could throw stuff up on social, maybe pay for some ads, send some emails, and people would go to a website and press yes. But those times have changed. The market has shifted with economic changes, lifestyle changes. People have gotten wiser that just because someone has a website and says that they can do something doesn't mean that they're an expert and are going to change your life. It's kind of like if you see in the sun, then it's so. Remember from Yes, Virginia, there's a Santa Claus, and her parents told her, well, if it's in the newspaper, then it has to be true. And we've realized that sometimes that's not true. It's just like the internet. If you see it on the internet, it's not always true. Okay, so anybody can put up a website. There's no kind of vetting or any kind of certification. And I think that that's great. I think it's wonderful that all of us can just start a business, but you need to realize that just anyone can start a business. And so because of that skeptical buyer's remorse, I guess I would call it, because they've all of us have bought into something online. If you haven't, then I guess you haven't been buying too much online. But all of us have bought something online, a course, a product, a service, that we are completely disappointed and disillusioned with because we were promised all these things and they didn't happen. Or the person said they knew all these things and they didn't. So all those trends of just do this and sell it have gone by the wayside. And we are back to relationship marketing. What's great though is that we have these social media, we have email, we have all of these vehicles to make it easier. We don't have to literally go out and pound the pavement and knock on doors to create relationships or drive all over to do these in-person networking events. In-person networking is amazing. I highly recommend it. However, for many of us, if we're not in a big city, it's difficult to get to multiple ones. And also all that time traveling takes away from business. So we can actually stack those tools and create relationships in an easier, more efficient way. So the big shift, as I said, changed from people being completely in awe that someone has something online that they can buy to them being more skeptical. And I know I've quoted this before, but the percentage of people who impulsively buy something is the lowest it has ever been since they started recording it. It's actually in the single digits. It's down to the point that you can no longer rely on people are just going to impulsively buy something and that will be your base and then you can grow from there. You need to have a relationship with people because even the impulsive buyers in the end had to really think about it and are waiting till the very last minute to say yes. Most sales, like 50 to 70%, are happening in the last 30 minutes of a promotion. And sometimes at the very last minute that, the cart hasn't completely closed because the owner is working on it, but technically it's closed. That is when sales are happening. So even those impulsive buys are taking longer. Also, there's been a big shift in algorithms and how things are delivered, and people want that personal touch. So just like you would start conversations, have coffee chats, reach out and get to know people in groups, meet over coffee, those things are coming back, and it's really a good thing because that means that the experts, the people who really are committed to their business and know how to do what they say they can do, are the ones who are going to thrive, not just the ones who can game the system.
Well, she'll be back in just a second. But really, when we're talking about one of the things that we had talked about was the shift, right? And really, if you think about buying online, before that, I know with the pandemic, we had people that were working just in person and they didn't even have an online presence. So if you look at marketing, right, and what the current trends are, we see that change over time, right? So the new shift right now is back to being kind of leery on it.
Yes. Yes, that's a great point, Christine, because there was a point where buying things online was, almost like meeting someone in a dark alley. And I can remember when my brother ordered something off of Amazon back in, I don't even know when it was. This was like Amazon was brand new. And I was like, are you crazy? How do you know you're going to get it? Like, you bought something, you don't even know where it's coming from. How do you trust them? And I was like, I'm never going to shop online. Well, here I am 5 years later. I do love to shop local, but there's sometimes things you can't get local, or there's small businesses that are online that I really like to support. So it's just changed the ecosystem of how we do things. So how to be successful, and why it's not that simple. These kind of go together. So for years we've been hearing, if you just send an email, you can make $1 million. If you just are on the right platform, you can make $1 million. If you just, like have a digital product, you can make $1 million. All of those things are true. However, none of them are the complete plan of what is going on. And I've been inside 6, 7, 8, scaling to 9-figure businesses. And I can tell you that even the ones that teach, email marketing is the way you make the money, and this is the email, they aren't just sending emails. They are on social. They are networking. They are collaborating. They have power partners. They have all these pieces working for them. So it isn't as easy as being on the right platform or knowing the algorithm. It really is having that overall marketing plan with a vision of where you're heading and the content that supports it, that creates trust and authority and empowers your audience to say yes. You speak to them so that they understand that you understand them, and then you give them some quick wins so that they know that you can help them. And I have a whole talk that I actually did with Giver, I guess a month or two ago, about speaking so your ideal client will listen. And so if you want to know about that, watch that one. You can go to my YouTube channel, find my playlist. Anyway, so how to be successful is to really, like I said, know your numbers, know where you're driving people, but also know what your people want. Myron Golden talks about this a lot. I've been kind of binge watching some of his stuff, so I've been referencing him a lot. And so 2 things that he brings up is that if you want to find the right people, you really need to be findable. So his standard is 7 hours of content on 4 different platforms. And that I think and I think there's something else he has in there, but that's what I've been going on. So if you can be on 3 or 4 different platforms and someone can watch or read for 7 hours what your expertise is, what you have to share, what you know, then they will feel like they know you because they've gotten to experience so much of what you do. That's part of the reason why I love going on things like this, because I get to connect with new people and serve in a big way, and get to a new audience. So how to be successful is, first of all, find your audience and connect with them, but also reach out and find other audiences. So networking, collaborating, being on podcasts, going as a guest speaker, keeping up all the things, but also not burning out on it. Have a very strict plan of how much time you spend on everything. I have a very strict plan of, this is how long I will spend on, let's say, Facebook, and this is how long I spend doing my content. This is how I break off a time. This is when I'm making something for YouTube. This is when I'm reading so that I have ideas to write. All of that needs to be scheduled. You can't just plan on it happening, because then it just won't happen. So make yourself your first client. Schedule it in just like you would anybody else. If you were running a brick and mortar, you would schedule in cleaning the store. You would schedule in doing inventory or meeting with your I'm losing the word, but like your wholesalers. All of that would be in your calendar. So put yourself into your calendar, have a clear vision of where you're taking them, and listen to what people are saying. I think that's the biggest thing with being successful. And it's something that Myron says over and over again, that sell what people want. Don't sell what you want. Sell what people want. Listen to what they're asking for. See what people in groups that are your ideal client are talking about. Make your offers and your products based on what people need, and then it will be easier for you to connect with them because they're already looking for you.
I think that's great advice, Jennifer. Some of the topics you've dove in today, I know you're just barely even touching. I know you have a ton more information on any of this. So if any of this sounds like something you want to know more about, you can definitely find Jennifer. Where can we find you?
Well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You can find me at leadfunnelscale.com. I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. You can find me from Instagram, but I have to be honest, like, I just don't do that much with Instagram. I haven't had any real legitimate conversations come from there. So I'm letting that go in 2025 because I don't need another thing to do. But if you want to message me on there, you could. And also you can go to my website and find me there. So, and YouTube. All of them, if you go to Lead Funnel Scale on any of them, then you can find me. So quick recap. What is a marketing plan? It is having a concrete strategy of where you want people to go, what you want them to buy, and how you're going to get them there. Okay. It's not just planning which platforms you're going to be on and what type of content you want to make. That's the last thing you plan. Platforms and reach. There isn't any wrong platform. If your people are there and you're getting traction and you're getting conversations, then that isn't a wrong platform. However, try to have at least one platform, ideally 3. Would that help you show up and search more, that build authority and trust, and create those backlinks so that when someone searches your name or your company, they have a whole list of places that they can look you up and know what you're talking about, get to know you, and build confidence in you. In 2025 trends is really about building the personal one-to-one relationship. It isn't so much about the glitz and the glam, about the perfect social media life. It isn't about just putting up a link and having people say that they're going to buy. Jeff Walker actually said a couple of years ago that is kind of, he doesn't want to say that that's dead, but it's getting close to being dead. So have sales pages, but don't expect people to just land on your sales page and click buy. You need to actually build conversations and relationships with you and with them, and show them that they can trust you and you have authority. So I would love to sit down with any of you and do a quick look at where your marketing plan is and maybe where you can make tweaks, and talk about, you know, what your vision is for your business. I would just love to know where you're heading, where you are, and what you want to do along the way. So if you would like to book a chat with me, please just scan this QR code and book in time. And I can't wait to meet with you. And then I do have, since we're talking about social media and algorithms, I'm going to drop this. Can I drop this in the comments? So this, let's see if that works. This is a link, and that went to YouTube. So I'm going to give this to you, Christine, because maybe you can figure out how to put it other places. This is a training that I actually did for my private coaching clients that I decided I wanted to share with everyone, because they were all so overwhelmed by social media and they were spinning out and like their brains were ready to explode. And I'm like, it's not that important. Okay. Let's just make this a vehicle and not make it this overarching oppressive thing in our business. So we went through a whole month of training on this, of how to end the social media marketing drama and actually get more results online and have more time for doing business building activities. And so that's what this does. It walks you through how to be successful on social media, how to build authority and trust, but not be spending 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Honestly, if you're spending any more than an hour and a half a day on any of your content, then you're spending too much time. So that is a free gift for everybody if you'd like to sign up and take that training.
And it's true, because social media, it really is a huge, it steals your time. It really takes a lot to invest in that. So if you're planning on using that as one of your main strategies, you have to plan ahead for it. I know for myself as building my following, and I do get paid from Facebook, but part of that building the following, I think it was taking me probably 2 to 3 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of time when you look at your day, right? Is that what you want to do? So you really need to look at where you're putting it. That marketing plan that Jennifer's talking about, right? That's a game changer right there. Look at where you want to do it. And like she said, scheduling it where you need it. And I know Jennifer's offered great advice at the Giver Marketing Network, and she's worked with our core team there. And it's amazing what small shifts in your business can make, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the new goals that you make and how to get there is a big part of that. So definitely take advantage of this opportunity to have a no cost call with Jennifer. Scan that code. We're going to leave it up for just another minute, but scan that code, book that appointment. Jennifer, what's it look like if somebody comes in and has an appointment with you?
We meet and I like to get to know them a little bit. And then we talk about what is their vision for their business. Where are they right now? What's their vision of where they want it to be overall, their vision.
And she'll be back in just a second. All right. So what's your goal? What's your mission? What are you trying to do? What are your goals for this business year? So she was talking about the 6-month plan. So take a moment and think about that. What are your goals? What are you trying to do more of? What are you trying to sell? Because remember, the whole goal in the end of a business is to make money. So whatever you're using for your content strategy or your social media or your emails, right? Think about, what am I trying to increase my sales in for this year? Right. And
Hi,
she's back.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my internet today. I think I need
That's okay. We got this.
But yeah, so and then we just have a talk of, where are you and does your vision align with what you're doing right now? I think that's the biggest thing, because sometimes we have this vision and we start just doing things, right? And running like a squirrel, and we add this and we add that. It's kind of like those very old houses where, they just add this little room and they add this little closet. And then there's all these funny little spots and they're fun to walk through, but they're not always that functional, right? It's not a very well planned house. So what you want to do when you start doing that is sometimes you think you're going in the right direction, but really you're spinning in circles. And that's what my strategy calls focus on is, are you moving in the right direction or are you spinning in circles? And what do you need to evaluate to know the difference?
Oh, what a great topic though, right there, right? We think that we're busy because we're doing things, but are we actually doing anything that's showing any results, return on investment, right? Are we putting our energy where it's supposed to be? And sometimes it helps to bring an expert into the space to kind of take a look at where you're spending your energy and does it make sense? And are you actually getting the results that you want? So great time to make an appointment with Jennifer. So go ahead and scan that code, make an appointment with her. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your wisdom today. You've always got such a great perspective, and it really helps people, I think about where they're at and where they want to go. And we're frozen again. So what she means to say is she's had a great time on the show. She's had a great time sharing with everybody. So go ahead, book that appointment with her, and we will see you again next Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we do this Giver Marketing broadcast. And also on Wednesdays, I should probably pull that up. On Wednesdays, we do networking for marketers. So those that are in the PR space, the marketing space, the media space, come hang out with us. So givermarketing.com/networking will get you into our meeting. Register once, save the link. So all marketers are welcome to come join us. Don't be a lonelypreneur. Maybe you have a micro agency. Maybe you've been working solo. Maybe you've got some assistants. We love to team up and work together, white label each other, and do a teamwork thing. So come show up with us and come hang out with us on Wednesdays. And we will see you again for the Tuesday Marketing broadcast next week. See y'all soon.